Everybody ready? Good morning. I'm calling to order the Clay Township meeting on Tuesday, October 21st. It's a regular meeting of the Clay Township Board, and I'm Mary Eckert, President. The first order is to stand and say the Pledge of the Flag. Just a minute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You guys are on pair.
We look like a revolutionary drum and fife. Just need a guy to play the piccolo now.
Are there any public comments today?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Judy Hagan, former Clay Township trustee, currently Carmel Clay Park Board president. This will be, I guess, one of my last official events. I just wanted to come to thank you all for the wonderful bridge and your financial support and taking the lead on this. This is really going to be an iconic structure in the community. You could see the bike riders were already there going over it, and everybody just loved it. What you didn't know, and I didn't know at the time either till later, talking to Karen and some other folks, there were a lot of the Indiana Greenway Foundation people were there too. She had put that out through their list, and there were a whole bunch of statewide bike people there who just did not raise their hands when I asked them if there were other people. Connie Schmucker I recognized, so I did acknowledge her. So anyway, thank you all for continuing your support, and it's part of what makes this so great. So on to the item on your agenda, which is the Fourth Amendment to the interlocal agreement. I'm speaking, of course, in support of that. I think that is the best solution long-term to our funding issues at this time and place. And so I would like to speak in favor of that and hope that you will approve it, and it will go on to City Council for their approval. So thank you all. Thank you for your leadership. As always, it's always the township that's out the gate first. So thank you.
Now, the next order of business is approval of minutes. May I have a vote?
I move to adopt approval of minutes from the 16th of September meeting.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Madam President, may I recommend a revision to your agenda, an additional action item?
Certainly.
You'll have to have a motion to amend the agenda, and it would be an item E, park donation agreement. And I can explain that when we get there.
I move to add action item E to the agenda as described by Councilor Bosma.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Well, the first order of business under action is the adoption of the 2026 budget, Resolution 2025-10-21-01. Gentlemen,
I'll move for adoption of that resolution.
is there any discussion?
We'll have a,
I second.
okay, now discussion.
All right. Any discussion?
This is the budget that we presented last month. Angie and I worked, and Debbie worked on this very diligently with Cole's help also, and this is where we're at. Looks like we've raised our adoption rate just a little bit from last year.
And I would just add to that too, Paul. So the rates that you see adopted here, we used a reduced assessed valuation just to protect in case there are any shifts as well. So we would expect the rate to actually be lower than what you see here. But that's really all just provides some protection in case there's changes in AV, which we did see happen in the county this year. So that type of action protects us from having to re-advertise and try to fit things back in within the timeline.
Any further discussion?
I have none.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any disapproval? We don't have, so great. We're going on to the adoption of the 2026 salaries. Resolution number 2025-10-21-02.
I move for adoption.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, on to action item C. Approval of Fourth Amendment to Park Board Interlocal Resolution number 2025-10-21-03.
I move for adoption.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Any discussion?
Is there any discussion?
Would you like to hear a summary?
Yes, please.
Thank you,
All
be
right.
happy to. First of all, Debbie, would you mind handing this up to them? I failed to present the summary. Actually, the summary before you was prepared by Michael Klitzing, actually for the Park Board, and summarizes the Fourth Amendment to the interlocal agreement, which we prepared in conjunction with both the Park Board and Paul and Angie. I gave them one already. So, as you know, the current Third Amendment to the 2002 Park Interlocal Agreement it's set to automatically terminate the current composition of the Park Board at the end of 2026. So there was a 2-year extension. As you may recall, the Second Amendment said once the park bonds, the big park bonds, were paid off and there was no more substantial lit coming to the Park Board from the Township, that the Park Board current would terminate, and it would resort to 10 city appointees and 1 school board appointee. We got a 2-year extension on that with the Third Amendment, which said, okay, we're going to postpone this kind of termination. It didn't terminate the board, it just terminated the township's appointments to the board. We'll put a 2-year hiatus on that to try to find a funding solution that works for everybody to continue the board. So the Park Board had recommended that we prepare for your consideration and their consideration, or the city's consideration, a Fourth Amendment, which we all went over pretty thoroughly. And it first makes the current Park Board appointments extend through 2042, which is, I mean, you still have to appoint them every year, but the current makeup stays till 2042, which is the year that the park impact bonds are paid off, okay? So it gives you a 15-year, 16-year extension on this automatic termination of appointments. The second item that it does is it requires the township to include in its capital improvement plan, which you approved at our last meeting, I think, or the one before, items suggested by the Park Board. It doesn't require you to spend the money on those, but it requires you to include them in the Park Board, in the Township Board capital improvement plan. And if funds are available and the township agrees, you can spend on those projects. That actually is beneficial to the township as well, so that you kind of fill up that capital improvement plan and don't have to throw a lot of money into the road funding, the road fund. Then the third item that it does is it transfers the special taxing district, Park Special Taxing District, from the city to the township. Now, let me explain this. In the original interlocal agreement, there was a park district, special taxing district for the township, and a special taxing district for the city. As annexation occurred, the township's special taxing district got chewed up, all right, and the city's expanded in accordance with the interlocal. Once the annexation covered the entire township, there was no more special taxing district for the township. We applied to the Department of Local Government Finance informally to request whether a special taxing district could be established for both entities and they would not allow that. They said one special taxing district if it's virtually coterminous. So the city has never used its special taxing district, the park special taxing district, okay? Hasn't issued bonds on it, hasn't issued leases on it, and it's never used it. The thought was that the township might be more inclined in the future to use that and have that as an option for future financing of projects if the township so chooses. Mr. Kletzing has worked the city council pretty well and believes that they are going to be willing to support this amendment. We thought we'd bring it to the township first to give them some additional incentive to do so, knowing that you all would want to do it. I'm happy to answer any questions on that.
Is there an existing pool of money that the city controls that would be transferred over to us, or?
No.
Okay,
No. Yeah, they've raised no funds under the special taxing district. And all the special taxing district is it's a separate taxing unit. So it has a constitutional tax limit, just like the township does, but separate now. So it gives you flexibility to raise capital through bonds or leases. Now, you have to raise taxes, the special benefits tax to pay those. So that'll be a decision for the future. But this would give you that option, give you and future township board members the option to do so in the future if it makes sense.
is there a reason why the city would want to relent, or give that up? I mean, is there any kind of a,
Just flexibility, they could have the same opportunity to use that in the future. They have other options also, especially with the redevelopment commission. A lot of flexibility there. So really, there's not much incentive for them to hang on to it. And they've never used it.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, let me go back then for the special taxing district.
Yes.
Okay, would that be a fix for the parks to help fund things?
That's exactly why this is being proposed. It would be, the board would have to make a decision to levy a special benefits tax, which would be on top of your other taxes,
So this would help take care of some of the issues?
potentially.
we'd have to raise our tax rate? But
Well, I mean, that's fine. I mean, how many people, I mean, the parks are used, unbelievable. I mean, the amount of people that go to these parks, it's unbelievable, especially Central Park. But I just want to make sure that we are, I mean, I got some other questions I will ask at a later time, but I want, we're looking at taking care of the parks. I want to make sure the parks are taken care of.
You'd be shocked at the amount of time our firm, Angie's firm, and especially Michael Klitzing have spent exploring options to try to solve this problem. There aren't very many that work without a change in legislation that don't very negatively impact the tax base of the township because of the caps and everything else. Everything gets shifted around. This is one that could present that in the future. But again,
Okay.
you'd have to be willing to raise the special benefits tax to implement it.
You think the city might go for it, or?
I'll defer to Mr. Klitzing on that. He's had the conversations.
Good morning, Michael Klitzing, Director of Carmel Clay Parks and Recreation. Doug, in response to your question, I have talked with 8 of the 9 council members, as well as had email correspondence with the 9th. By all accounts, we have strong support. I already have at least 5 sponsors for this proposed amendment to the interlocal. I suspect that we might have a few more sponsors that add their names to it. I do anticipate this will go to City Council at their November 17th meeting. The next available meeting would be November 3rd, but I'm just returning from vacation. So, right now, not knowing when the air traffic controllers may or may not be working, I would prefer not to have this go to council right as I'm coming back. But so it's anticipated to go November 17th. By all accounts, I think we're in good position to have this approved by council as well. I've also had conversations with Mayor Finkum, and she expressed no opposition to what we're proposing. So I mean, it's not done until it's signed and approved, but at the same point, it looks like we're in a very strong position to get this across the finish line should the township board also be amenable to it.
Any further discussion? We don't vote on this, do we?
Yes, we do.
We do. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No nays, so we're in. Thank you. Now we're down to the information item.
No.
Yeah.
We've got D and E
You got
left.
two more.
Oh, I don't have an E.
No, remember, we just
You've got
added
a
it to
D.
the
D.
agenda.
The next one is the bridge maintenance and use
Okay.
agreement, Resolution 2510-2104.
Is there discussion on this?
Well, no, we have to have,
A resolution. and
we have to have a motion and a second, and then we'll have discussion on action
All right,
item
May I have a
D.
motion, please?
So moved.
Second? Doug?
Oh, yeah, I'll second it. I thought you seconded. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
discussion.
second it.
Would you like a little explanation?
Yes.
Okay. So this maintenance and use agreement, actually management and use agreement, is very similar to the ones that we've done, simpler, but very similar to the ones that we've done with the Dad's Club and the Historical Society. It essentially grants the possession of the bridge to the parks and requires them to maintain it, keep it clean, do routine maintenance, pay the utilities, insure it, while also ensuring you all, as its owner, you retain ownership of it, but they have really possession of it. The township retains the responsibility to do major repairs. Something very serious happens, it's a capital repair that would come to the township as the owner, kind of like a lease. But for all the routine items, there'll be utilities out there because there's going to be lighting. It's got to be kept clean. Somebody's got to tuck point it every once in a while. Those would be on the parks. Now, the park has not yet considered this because we're kind of in a rush here. All of a sudden, we had substantial completion, which actually there was a certificate issued last week of substantial completion. But the parks has assumed control of it informally, and they've insured it. So, which was the real critical thing before somebody got out there yesterday and had a glass of champagne and tripped and fell or something like that, went over the bridge. So that was taken care of that was my worst nightmare. That was taken care of this last week. So this would be put in place and authorizes the trustee to execute it, and then the park board will consider it at its next meeting, presuming you do.
This is, this entire agreement with all the exhibits and everything is unbelievable. I guess one of my questions is, do we get any financial participation from the other side of the river? Will Delaware Township, the city of Fishers contribute at all?
That was specifically stated in their donation agreements.
Okay.
That they had no responsibility for maintenance. They did not, all of them expressed reluctance to do anything other than donate to the project. They don't have any liability. Any liability lies here contractually over to the park board, contractually to your insurer, and no maintenance coming from anybody else.
Well, that's a shame, but in a way that makes a lot of sense. It makes it cleaner. At least we know who's responsible for everything going forward. We're not going to say, well, that's your part, that's your fault, that type of thing.
I suspect Michael would like to add something.
Absolutely. We have a similar arrangement actually not with the township, but for the bridge for the Monon Greenway over 146th Street. That was a shared project. The township participated in that, as well as the county and the city of Westfield. I think it might have been town of Westfield at the time. And we likewise have full responsibility for that bridge. Now, the good thing is what that means is it's all maintained at a similar level. We don't have we're not plowing to the midline and Fishers, you figure out the other half and stuff. It does ensure a consistency in there. It doesn't preclude us, if we have a major repair, I don't think it's unforeseeable that we revisit that conversation and ask for a donation from them. They're not obligated to do so, but it doesn't preclude us from at least making the ask in the future. But again, this is a very similar situation to what we have for the existing bridge at 146th Street for the Monon Greenway. And quite frankly, we haven't had any significant major maintenance expenses for that bridge, and that's been in place at least 15, 17 years, so.
I had no idea it was that long.
If I can add one more thing, essentially, the city of Carmel's paying for the maintenance because that'll come out of the operating budget of the park board, which is fully funded by the city currently.
Thank you.
No, we don't need to vote.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 There are no nays. Excuse me. Now we're down to financial questions.
No, you got item
haven't-
E.
Well, I don't have,
Action item E. It's the one that
It's
was
the one
added
that we added to the agenda, sorry. If I can just explain this. So it's just come to light in the last 48 hours that prior to the end of the year and your next meeting, there'll be a need for approximately $50,000 to complete the current services to the Japanese gardens. The Parks has indicated their willingness to donate that to the construction fund, out of which the gardens are being prepared constructed, as we did with several other projects, including the bridge. It's a much larger deal. So I just really heard the details on this yesterday from David Ford, and Michael had mentioned it to me. So they will need, when I said, oh, we'll do it at the first of the year, David said, oh my gosh, I got to have money before that. So I thought what we would do is, if it's okay with the board, for you to go ahead and just make a motion to authorize the trustee to enter into a donation agreement to receive a donation from the park board, and go ahead and execute that, and we'll bring it back for ratification in January. So it can get on the board's next meeting and the money can be transferred. We'll probably do this one a little bit differently because I don't want to fool around with an appropriation of that. I'm probably going to ask the park board to make their donation directly to your construction fund at the bank, so it never touches your hands. And I think that gets around the appropriation issue, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think we had looked at last time being the donation, that it
Oh, we
didn't
didn't have
count
to-
against the
okay.
appropriations. I know you dug into that at one
Oh,
point.
that's
so
right. You're right.
Whatever way's easiest, we can do.
Okay,
But I
we'll
think we'll
figure
be
it out.
fine either way.
So if you're willing to do that in advance, if you would make a motion to authorize the trustee to negotiate and execute a donation agreement with the park board for the Japanese gardens.
So moved.
second.
I second.
Discussion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 There are no nays. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, financial questions.
Information items.
I wrote it on the wrong place, that's all, I'm sorry. All right, information items, please.
You have in front of you is where we're at on our township assistance this year. I came from the banking industry. We always like to see the numbers go up, where this, I don't like seeing go up. It's on the rise, 109,000, which is what we basically last year, so we're still trending up, and we got a full board of clients already up for this month. Everything's basically going up, and I really can't figure out what's causing that. Next thing is holidays for 2026. The office will be closed on those days.
Excuse me just for a second. Paul, going back to this township assistance,
Yes, sir.
talk about the cause of it. Where is the money going to as far as, is it apartment complexes? Is most of the money going there?
As you see here, on the second part, we have rental assistance. we've given 22,000 of the 97,000 has gone towards private landlords. The rest have been apartments. With
The only reason I'm saying.
Carmel Hills being the biggest.
The only reason I'm saying it is, when I was in your position, and a lot of times, these apartment complexes really don't do the background work on people, and they allow anybody to move in, whether you have a job or not. I mean, it's stuff like that.
Doug, that's the biggest thing we find out is, one, they don't do any checking. They just take your word that I have a job, I'm making X amount of dollars. And a lot of it's because it's a third-party vendor that does the investigation, and they don't do any investigative work on it. And like, we had a young girl that just turned 18, got graduation money, hadn't had a job, and she got upset with her mom, and she decided she wanted to move out and go get an apartment. She come to us because she's breaking the lease. She wants us to help it on that. But, it's things like that, and the other thing is, Doug, as you know, we hear and you heard this, and Judy heard it too. You basically tell them you can't afford to live in Carmel, and they go, I'm not leaving because I want my kids to go to Carmel Clay Schools because it's such a good school corporation. And it's basically the old saying, damned if you do, damned if you don't, because, it's a great school corporation. You want kids to have good education. And then, but, if you can't afford to live here, you can't afford to live here. And the apartment rents keep going up. They're not getting any lower. And the ones that are what you'd say low-end apartments, not low-end, but, affordable apartments, Twin Lakes is 100% occupancy. Governor Square's like 90%. I mean, all those places are full. And so now it just leaves the high-end, $1,800 a month apartment rent.
I know when I was in your position, Twin Lakes really, they were great to work with.
They still are.
Okay, but I was just curious, does it continue into your administration that we had the same problems with the parks not doing their job?
And the thing about it is, Doug, it's not Clay Township that's experienced this either. That's a discussion we have with all the other townships. They have the same complaint. They just let people in. They don't do any background checks, and
Because they know you'll pay for it.
and some of the people they let in, the first thing the investigators do is they go to my case, and they see they've been evicted someplace else, and they don't go and check that and see if these people don't pay their bills to begin with.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's sort of a catch-22.
Yeah.
They get there, they let them in, but they don't do their due diligence. How's that?
There, you're right. You're right. Okay, just asking.
And that's just a growing concern with everybody, Doug. Some apartments do do a better job, some don't. There for a while, Carmel Hills Carmel Woods wasn't on our list because they changed their management style and they didn't have a lot of people in there. Now that sort of creeping back on there. Carmel Hills is up there, which used to be the old Meadow Apartments. That's always been that way. But we see other places like Midtown Rail Yards on here. I mean, those are high-end apartments and people are still struggling. We've had some executives lose their jobs and try and they survive for 6 months and they come and see us, but it's tough.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Thank you, Paul.
Next,
Next thing is our meetings for next year. we have to meet in January and February, no meeting in March. April, we'll have a meeting, no meeting in May, June, we'll have one in July. In July, we'll have to approve the capital improvement plan because it's got to go to does have to be approved by the county council, but I need to get it there before their August meeting. Then, we got the budget hearing and budget adoptions in September and October, then no meeting in November, and if we have to have one in December, we would have one.
We have any more discussion on the update of the bridge dedication?
Updates on the projects, we just discussed the Japanese garden. I heard about the additional money being needed on it. They're supposed to be completing it sometime in December. Supposedly, don't know if that, where that's at. Everybody was there for the bridge dedication, which I appreciate you being there. And Michael, what a fabulous crowd for that. I mean, that was amazing to see all those people there. Judy, thanks for getting all that information out to people to have them there. It was a very, 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 very nice ceremony. And with that said, we've only got the bridge is now basically completed. A few minor things we'll have to wrap up there, and the Japanese garden's the only one we got open. And we have a few minor things at the parks that we're finishing up with a few of those funds, and all of them should be closed up, I hope, by next year.
May I add something on the Japanese garden? I got kind of a earful update on the Japanese garden situation, and this $50,000 only kind of solves the problem through the end of the year for outstanding invoices, and then they've got another challenge. So I don't know what the solution is to that, but the project was much more intense and expensive than originally anticipated, so they're looking both to change the scope and to perhaps find additional funding. I'm not saying you all, but I think I heard the park board's name when but that may be news right now to them. So, and also is going to take a break, according to Dave Ford yesterday, our bridge discussion, and going to probably pick back up in March or something like that. So when HK or SK or whatever the guy's name is, HK, when he returns to do more. So, but we've solved the immediate problem today, and we'll probably hear more about it next year.
When do you think they'll have it done?
I don't know.
Seems like it goes and goes.
Paul
and goes.
said next year. I think that's fair. That's a
Yeah.
fair statement.
Yeah.
He didn't
yeah,
give a
that
month.
Makes sense.
Spoken like a politician.
I learned from the best.
Now, financial questions from the board. Any?
I have none.
No, no, none.
All right. We're going to board comments. Any?
I just wanted to say that, Michael, that thing was fantastic. You guys put together, and I was amazed. I mean, I knew it'd have to be a pretty good sized bridge across the White River, but it's something to see. And what a view from the center of that bridge,
Yeah.
north and south. I mean, it just absolutely incredible. And I thank you guys and Paul, your team, and Judy, thank you. And all the governmental entities that were involved were there and had a nice little speech from each one of them. And I'm really thrilled, and it's going to get a lot of use. I think, Judy, you said that. It's going to get a lot of use, but I'll have to ride my bike to do it the next time. And a lot of people didn't realize, I think, until one of you mentioned it, it goes from Zionsville, this trails go from Zionsville to out to Geist. I mean, that's pretty impressive, I think. And then, of course, there's other trails throughout Hamilton County and even across the state. But thank you very much for you guys for the work you did on that. That was fantastic.
Doug, you're the one that started it.
Well, I know, but I tell you what, I couldn't believe when I walked around that corner and seen that bridge. I'm thinking, Holy smokes. That's huge. I mean, I hope people see this video of us from our meeting this morning, because they're going to have to all go out and go visit it. I mean, it's very nice.
Take a
Very
walk.
nice.
Doug, you talk about that spot. I remember when I was a young kid, my grandfather said that was one of the places they forded the river, was right in that area right there, because that was the shallowest and narrowest part of the river at the time.
Wow.
You still thought 10 feet deep there, did you think?
I think it was probably a couple, I think I saw a pool there, it was probably close to 10 feet, but some of it where they forded it was maybe 2 or 3. Like you saw the gentleman up there fly fishing, so, it's pretty shallow in some parts of it there.
I echo what Doug said. A beautiful part of the river that I've never seen before, and perfect timing of the year with the leaves changing and everything. But Judy had mentioned to me that was, am I misquoting you? That was kind of a concept or a thought to do something in that area for 30 years? You first visited that 30 years ago about the possibility? Well, that's amazing.
You ought to say where it's
Tremendous.
located for the video.
Oh, well, you want to,
Go ahead. Hazeldale Park.
Hazeldale Park over to Heritage River Trail? Heritage Park. Down there about 106th Street in Hazeldale.
Right on. Yep.
Yeah, got to get the parking figured out. I know you're working on that. I know you are.
Well, it was quite terrific yesterday, just wonderful. Board comments other than what we've been talking about?
I have none.
All right.
Thank you.
Announcements?
Next meeting will probably be in January, but if we have one in December, it's to be determined. Unless we have something come up, we will not have one in November or December.
All right.
I think the parks usually have what do I want to say?
Encumbrance.
Encumbrances, thank you, huh? Oh, that's,
Go ahead, let's vote.
boy, that's changed. In the 3 years I've been gone, it's changed a lot. Okay, yeah.
Madam President, can I make an announcement too?
Yes, certainly.
So if you'd mark your calendar, everybody in the room will get an invitation on December 11th from 4:30 to 8. Our firm's having a client and friend Christmas reception. We'll have valet parking and right on the circle overlooks the monument. So December 11, 4:30 to 8. Park Board will get an invitation too, Judy.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah,
Party's
I
always
think
great.
we had this 4 or 5 years ago, and I think Debbie and Doug might have been there. I think that's probably about it, but it's a fun night. So we'll have refreshments and hors d'oeuvres, and good fellowship.
Thank you.
Yeah. May I have a move for adjournment?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
My apologies.